Guys, my name is Dr. Brett Brimhall. I'm a chiropractor here in the Phoenix area. You've been invited to this group, and if you're whether you're watching this live in person or through recording, we're excited to have you here. We're a group of like-minded people. We met through a biohacking nutrigenomic company called LifeVantage, and we are doing these Wellness Wednesdays in order to help empower people. I had a conversation over lunch today with two individuals that their goal is to help families. Like they want to help families, which is really one of my passions, to understand how to make better financial decisions, how to be healthy and stay healthy, and how to improve their relationships. And part of our goal here at LifeVantage and specific Wellness Wednesdays is to help on that, focus on that health side of that. I truly think if people knew different and understand how to get there, they'd be more successful. And we are a team working together to help each other with that. I'm super grateful each of you and being here. I'm excited to be able to have Dr. Bly Hatch on this call with us. Just a little intro for him. He's been in clinical practice for over 25 years. I think 27, right, Doc?
27, yeah.
27. Him and I have a lot of common heroes. My dad is who both raised us in this profession. I'm grateful for that. And so you're going to have a chance tonight to hear somebody that's had 27 plus years of not only personal experience with his own health, but where thousands of people over the last 27 plus years have come and sought him out to understand how to get well, stay well, and be well. And I'm just excited to learn from him and to be able to have this information we can then pass down to our loved ones. So thanks everybody for being here tonight and on the replay. Dr. Hatch, please take it away.
All right, good. I'm going to actually share my screen here with you guys if I know how to do that. Let's see, there it is. All right, so let me share. Let's see if this will work this time. Cool. All right. Welcome, guys. Hey, you know, like Dr. Brimhall said, I've been in the crazy world of nutrition and chiropractic for a long time. And what an amazing, is that sharing correctly, Brett? Can't get it to expand out full.
So hit slideshow.
That's what I thought I did.
And then go over to the left where it says start from the beginning. There you go. Got it.
All right. All right. Can you guys all see that, or is my little screen in the way? Everybody sees that perfect?
Yep, you're perfect.
All right. Awesome. Hey, you know, so in the perfect world, right? When we think about things in the perfect world, we really, if we got plenty of sleep, you know, ate healthy, got all of our fruits and vegetables, everything that we wanted, would we really need to have any supplementation in today's world? And that's a question I get asked quite often. Well, I eat a great diet, Doc. I do everything correctly. Well, let me just kind of answer that little question for you here. Is yes, you still need to be putting nutrients back into your bodies, because there's several things we're going to talk about tonight of why we don't get enough supplementation. So I'm going to actually just down this just a little bit so I can see my screen a little more. So even if you're doing all the right things and you're trying to get things done correctly, we don't always end up with all the correct nutrients and supplements. Now, why is that? There's a few things, okay? One of them is actually we go through an aging process. So, and before I get off into this, I just want to go back and just kind of reiterate. Dr. Brimhall said something about my life, and I want to actually share this story a little bit because it is about his dad. His dad's one of my heroes. His dad, who has actually got me into chiropractic. Not just the first time I seen him. I started seeing him at age 7, but when I turned 25, I had some scaffolding collapse with me, and I ended up in the hospital. They wanted to do surgery. I told them no. I couldn't close either one of my hands, and so Dr. Brimhall's dad came to the hospital and visited me, and we talked about it, and he went and looked at the x-rays because they put casts on me and then they took them off. And they came back and they said, well, we don't know if your hands are broke or not, but we don't know what to do. You can't close them. Literally, I could not close them. And so he went and looked at the x-rays, came back, and he adjusted both my hands, and immediately the pain was relieved. That's what got me into wanting to be a chiropractor. But I had more experiences of that. And some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight was some of those things I experienced. And I want to kind of bring this up because the first thing I'm talking about, you know, as we age, our body gets where we don't break things down correctly, right? We start losing the digestive enzymes. We don't absorb nutrients. We all of a sudden start not getting things into our body that need to help us with building blocks. Now, I had a different experience. I was a little baby. I ended up with pneumonia at 6 weeks old, right? And because I had pneumonia, what ended up happening is I ended up in the hospital with IV antibiotics and then 6 months worth of oral antibiotics. And from that point on, my digestive system was really wreaking havoc. I was sick all the time. I was missed school when I was 6, 7 years old. So when I was 7 years old was the first time I went and seen Dr. John Brimhall. And he actually put me on nutrition and he adjusted me and he changed my diet. And within just a short amount of time, my body began to heal itself, okay? Because those digestive enzymes and those things, the bacteria and the things of my gut that had been impeded, now we're getting replenished back into my body through nutritional supplementation, okay, from a company that he was involved in years ago, and through good bacteria being put back into my body. So realize that we don't have to be old to have these problems. We can be young kids and have these problems. That's what leads to some of the times the things of ADD and ADHD. When I got 13, I kind of got off my diet that I was following with Dr. Brimhall, and I got a little crazy and I started eating a lot of candy and junk food. Again, started affecting my digestive system. And so then I ended up with ADD and ADHD. So just want to kind of share with you guys that realize age, yes, as we age, things start breaking down. But when we do wrong things, such eat bad foods, get exposed to chemical toxicity, such as pesticides, or we eat foods that are grown in pesticides and farms, or the soil's not as good. So our environmental factors affect that. So the processed foods that we are exposed to on a regular basis, okay, that we're intaking, sometimes it's making better choices and make a difference. So those things can create that environment that creates the lack of absorption of nutrition. And if we're not getting good nutrition, now we start getting things like soft bones. Our teeth start rotting and falling out of our head. We end up with muscle cramps and muscle aches. We have digestive problems. The body will manifest whatever is going on with it through our digestive system, through our musculoskeletal system. And that's where we as chiropractors get a lot of work. So realize when we're exposed to a lot of chemical toxicities in our foods, the type of foods we buy or the types of foods we ingest from stores or different places, it creates problems, okay? Are you an athlete? Here's something I always like to do something. If you're exercising a lot, you know, young kids need a lot more nutrients back into their body so that they can stay in shape, so that they can actually build muscle, build bone, do the things that they need to do to help them become the athlete that they need to become. So if we're not replenishing nutrients such as vitamins and minerals and B vitamins, we get tired, we get fatigued, we don't perform at our best. Okay. And so then we burn through that energy and we just get tired. And eventually, has anybody ever exercised and then they came along and then all of a sudden they just can't move anymore? It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to exercise anymore, right? Because all of a sudden what started happening is we started burning through all those nutrients and we're not putting proper fuel back into our body. So when we're doing that, our recovery time becomes slower. Our ability to heal from injuries becomes slower. I have a young kid right now that came to my office here on Monday. I treated him for hurting his hand on Friday night, and today he sprained his ankle. He and I had a long discussion. We need to change your diet. What are you eating? All right, because that's the first place I want to start is in our diet. So we talked about it. His diet includes this next erratic eating habits or behaviors, if you want to call it. He's eating tons of processed foods. Everything he buys, he goes to Wendy's, he goes to McDonald's. That's his food. The only time he gets a good meal is when he gets home at nighttime when his mom fixes it for him. So we had a discussion. We've got to change that. You got to start making better choices now. So realize that our foods contain a lot of the nutrients or all the nutrients we need, all the building blocks that we need. But if we are not in there and we're eating junk food or we're eating a lot of processed foods, even if we're eating really, really good, we still have to supplement because our body doesn't get enough of the nutrients into it, okay? So when you go to most healthcare providers, and it's becoming more popular, they're starting to encourage people, you know, hey, change your diet. Most of them don't know what to tell people to do, right? Has anybody been to their doctor and they just say, well, what do I do for my diet? Well, eat more vegetables. right? That's kind of a broad spectrum, right? But we hear that all the time. Yeah, just eat some more vegetables. That'll be fine. Maybe eat some protein and make sure you get that bread. You know, that food pyramid that they actually have, it's what you should be following. That's what most doctors teach us. But what we need to realize is that that is not what we need to be eating. We need to invert that. We need to consume more good nutrients, high in fat, okay? Our body likes good fats, and so it utilizes that better for energy. So if you want to help yourself get more energy, get more things, eat food higher in fats, okay? Good quality proteins. Proteins contain all of the important things that we need for building blocks, for building strong muscles, building strong bones, doing the things that will help us increase our muscle mass. Those are really, really important, especially as we go to get older. What ends up happening to us, the biggest thing is we lose our balance, we fall. Fall is the number one thing that occurs that I see people come into my office for. I work in a geriatric community, and so most of my people that come in to see me, they've been falling down and getting hurt. Why? Because they don't have enough muscle mass to turn those muscles on to keep themselves upright, okay? So it affects their bodies. But most doctors don't know what to tell you to do. So it's really, really important that not only do we look at things on diet of what we need to ingest, high fruits, high vegetables, and a few fruits, okay, to just reiterate that. Those are the things we need to be ingesting, but we still need to take supplements. Has anybody had their doctor tell them, hey, just go to the health food store and buy something off the shelf, okay? Get some calcium off the shelf, that'll help you, right? So have you guys ever been to a health food store? Okay. Have you gotten there and you looked at it and you say, oh my gosh, there's calcium. My doctor told me to get calcium. And you start looking at it and you say, well, there's calcium bicarbonate, there's calcium citrate, there's calcium gluconate. Which calcium do I take? Has anybody ever been confused when they go to the health food store? I am quite often, okay, when I get there, because you look at it. What are we most likely to buy if we don't have the little 16-year-old nutritional salesperson there telling us what to buy? Is most of us buy the cheapest thing on the shelf. Why? Because your doctor told you to go buy nutrients. That's what they told you to do. Get you a calcium and magnesium. So you look at it, well, they range from price of $10 to $50. Guess what we're going to buy most of the time? We're going to buy the cheapest one. Because in our minds, it doesn't matter what we take, but realize that makes a big difference. The type of calcium you're taking in, the type of fish oils you're taking in make a big difference, okay? The type of different multivitamins, which are really, really important, because we'll talk about why supplementation is so important here in just a few moments, because we're not getting the proper vitamins in. So B vitamins are something that's very essential to everyday life. Okay, we should be taking good amount of B vitamins in addition to what we're doing nutritionally in our diet, because one, B vitamins are in almost every function of the body. It deals with liver detoxification. It deals with the Krebs cycle, which we'll talk about here in a few moments, which is really important, which is one of those things that help upregulate our energy levels, which is really, really important. And it's also involved in just helping us sleep better, our brain health. Okay, so when we look at that, when we start looking at these things, we say, well, what do we buy? How do we get the proper nutrition? And I want to teach you guys that here in just a few minutes. So I just want to talk about this. You guys may have seen some of this last night if you were on Dr. Brian Dixon's. This is not as cool as his, okay? He had some really cool ones up there. But realize that supplementation is intended to bridge that nutritional gap, because we're not getting enough into our diet, okay, to maintain proper balance of nutrients from our foods. We need to have that supplementation, okay? So when we're looking at, this is a Krebs cycle. Now, what ends up, or methylation cycle, excuse me, I meant to pull up the Krebs cycle, but this is methylation cycle. This is liver detoxification. If we don't have a proper amount of B vitamins coming into our body, then what ends up happening is now that methadone doesn't create a breakdown of the homocysteine. You'll see homocysteine down there at the bottom. And that homocysteine is what makes us have plaquing of the artery. It's like sticky fly paper, okay? And that gets in our arteries and starts causing that plaquing. So it's not cholesterol that causes the problem. It's the fact that we have sticky fly paper called homocysteine that causes that. But if we got the proper B vitamins going into our body, okay, B12 in particular, we end up actually methylating that and getting rid of that. So the vitamins are important in that. They're important in the Krebs cycle in helping us make energy. They actually help upregulate the transition of that 14-phase energy production. And I don't have a picture of that here right now, but realize that we need to really make sure that we are having proper vitamins and supplementation to help the function of some of the other supplements that we're taking into our body and some of the other functions that the body needs to do. And so when we look at that, that's what we're looking at, adding vitamins in to help extenuate or amplify that process, okay? Even in activation, which is what we are involved in a lot of the stuff we're doing right now, is activating the body to help it increase the process of, one, getting rid of inflammation, two, increasing energy levels, three, helping us have an overall feeling of wellness and health. Those are very, very important. Also, when we think about the gut bacteria, having the proper vitamins and minerals going in there that are high quality, that's literally going to help support those bacteria, okay? And give them the things that they need to help us have a better, happier mood, to help us sleep better, to help us enjoy our life a lot better and not have our digestive problems. So there's a lot of stuff. So supplementation is very, very important and essential for us to have in our bodies. And so how do we know what to get? So here's a couple of rules I want you guys to follow right here, okay? You want to look for whole food supplements. That's one of the first things. Whole food supplements are better absorbed by the body, okay? We want to have them in higher potency because realize you're going to pee out a lot of vitamins, right? I think we talked about that last week. You're going to get rid of a lot of those vitamins. You're not going to absorb them. You want to have them absorbable or available at a cellular level, not just at a level of the gut or digestion or taking them in, but we got to have them absorbed into the body. If you can, find patents and formula functional claims that has government backing behind it. They've been approved by the government, okay? I mean, we know how amazing when we look at something that we have a patent on something that actually tells us that there's a process or a mechanism that occurs, okay? So patents are really, really important to have. Make sure the formulas are researched out there. There's tons of research on PubMed on different disease processes that people are looking for supplements and vitamins to help. So when they look at that, they're looking at that, but there's also other companies out there looking to formulate drugs, right? So there's people that are looking at those and saying, how can I help people do this more naturally by giving proper supplementation? And then the last thing I want to talk about is nutritionally supported. Does this nutritionally support your goals of what you're trying to achieve in optimal health? What is it that you're trying to get? Where do you want to be? Okay. I'm thinking a little crazy right now in my world, I'm going to tell you, because I'm thinking about running a marathon. All right. I'm 56 years old. I've never ran one in my entire life. My son said, let's go run a marathon. I said, sure, we'll go try that. Guess what? I've looked at what do I need to do to build more endurance? How do I get my lung capacity up? How do I increase my ability to get rid of lactic acid? Because that's one of the big things that happen. When you're running 26.2 miles, there's a lot of factors to think about. And so those are things that I'm looking at. So I'm looking at how do I supplement to help my body activate better to get rid of those toxins and get the processes going. So supplementation is really, really important. And we need to be adding that into our body so that we can actually help those processes that are already occurring become activated and to help them clear it out and help that activation that we're currently doing right now with our bodies to start pushing that out more. So get back with the person that sent you to this webinar tonight and just talk to them a little bit about, hey, can you help me kind of get a direction, or can you connect me with somebody that can help me get in a direction? We have a lot of doctors that are involved in this company, that are involved in health and nutrition. And we have a lot of lay people that are really smart that actually have done nutritional things that can help guide you. So thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate you taking your time to be here. and for the opportunity we have to talk about supplementation and the importance of it. Back to you, Dr. Brimhall.
That was awesome. You're not off the hook yet. It's fun. I love how you kind of put that together for us and help us just keep a very simple list of things to look for. It makes it really much easier for us to find really, important resources and things that'll help them to keep their families healthy. Because that's, I think, what I'm seeing more and more right now. People are just confused on where to get good information, and hopefully we can pass this on to them so that they can feel like they're doing the best they can for their families. So guys, this gives you your chance to have a conversation and just ask a question to Dr. Hatch with any questions you might have.